should you avoid buying an 8 gigabyte VRAM GPU? Um, no, I wouldn't say you need to avoid it at all. Now, if you're one of the tech nerds who already has a pretty stout computer and you are simply wanting to like boycott these companies for not giving us more VRAM, then I can understand your stance. I do agree that these newer GPUs should have more VRAM, especially at the price point they're giving us. I honestly think that with as many GPUs are on the market and as cheap it is to add the VRAM, we should probably be getting these 8 gigabyte VRAM GPUs at under $200. Just to be fair, I think you're selling it $260 to $300 for an 8 gigabyte card is not fair. But if you can get one closer to the $200 range, then by all means do so. My only argument against the lower VRAM card would be the fact that I think that they are overpriced, considering how many different levels of GPUs we have on the market. But with that being said, is the GPU bad? They're not. You know, you're gonna see gameplay footage throughout this video on a 9060 XT. And the 9060 XT 8 gigabyte card, I happen to live close to the Miami Micro Center, so I kind of like live on the website, and I saw one pop up, brand new in the box for $223. So I jumped on it, and I was not disappointed at all, and kind of blown away by how good it performed, considering at the beginning of the year how many people trashed them, and considering that all the tech sites say that the 9060 XT is a 1080p card when it's not. I mean, it doesn't have to be a 1080p. Now, if you only got a 1080p monitor, then I guess that's what you're stuck with. But I also think it's pretty funny that, you know, how VRAM works from what I can see when I'm playing these games and testing these games. Now, the 8 gigabyte VRAM is small if you're wanting to play in higher resolutions. But, you know, because if you run your benchmarking testing, you see the breakdown of the VRAM usage. The VRAM usage increases as you increase resolution. The higher the resolution your settings are, the more VRAM your card is going to eat. And yeah, so yes, of course, if you want to run 4K high settings, like these games are mostly 4K high, 4K medium, even Black Myth Wukong, 4K cinematic, which is a pretty pretty graphically intense game. You'll see 100% usage, but that 100% usage doesn't lead to stuttering or anything like that. The gameplay is smooth and fine, no issues. So I think it's funny that most of these YouTube reviewers, they say these are 1080p cards, but they complain about the VRAM not being enough when the VRAM doesn't really get consumed unless you start going above 1080p. But anyway, again, pretty surprised. So for the level or for the amount of money that you're going to spend to get this GPU and for what it can do, I think it's going to be well suited for above and beyond what most casual gamers want. Especially considering the fact that I was able to build this PC with this 9060 XT right around the $660 range. And there's definitely some steps I could have taken to decrease the price. I could have cut back on some of the aesthetics, got a cheaper PC case, and saved $20, $30 there. I could have used a slightly weaker CPU and saved another $60 there on the build. I think this build had a 5600T, Ryzen 5 5600T, that's like a Micro Center exclusive. The Ryzen 5 5500, I've tested on a bunch of setups, and even with better graphics cards than the 9060 XT, and it does well. So, you know, again, Micro Center regularly sells the 5500 as low as $55. So you could definitely go with save a decent amount of money on that. So again, like I think that the tech YouTube in general is kind of misrepresenting this whole generation of cards, and I think that the outrage from the nerds who understand better are mainly just pissed off that the prices are insanely high, which I agree with. I think it's pretty insane that some of these like GPUs that would be considered mid-tier are the cost of a console. But if you take away the FPS counter and you don't run it with these numbers running in the background, if you just play the game and set the settings there, you're not going to really, you're not going to notice anything different as if you were playing on a console. I think that the problem is that the YouTube nerds which I guess I would even consider myself in that category, because I'm out here building PCs every 6 months and upgrading, even when I have absolutely no need to, just because I like one GPU's cooler better than another one. I'm willing to pay a couple $100s. But I think for the regular casual gamer who just wants a PC to play games on, the 8 GB cards are completely fine, especially if you're playing like 1440p, 1080p. But you're not limited to that. So again, it's another one of those things I think is disingenuous when you're saying that it's a 1080p card when it doesn't have to be that. If I can put it up in a higher resolution and still run the game smooth, then why are we classifying it as that? Anyway, I guess the only way you're going to see, I guess, really is to just grab the card and see for yourself. I mean, you can always do a return or whatnot if you don't like the results. But I think that this generation of CPUs across the board for all manufacturers are just getting shit on. Now, for some practices, again, like I said in the beginning, that you could argue that they shouldn't be doing, but at the same time, like to say that the product is shit just because you don't like the price is kind of unfair. So if you're on the fence and you're wanting to get something newer, and you're a little nervous about getting the 8 GB VRAM because it's just not worth it, then that's just not the case. I guess if you have a computer already that is doing fine and playing the way you want, and you want to hold out, because I think by the beginning of next year you're probably going to see prices continue to decline a little bit. But I think we're already getting to the bottom tier of where prices are going to be at, because I think most GPUs now are selling at MSRP compared to what it was at launch when we had that artificial scarcity involved. But again, don't hold yourself back from buying an 8 GB card just because of what some YouTuber says. The cards run absolutely fine, and they do better than expected.